guess I'm taking back everything that I said because it's literally not Wanda. So the whole Agnes being Agatha Heartstone or Heartson was like, I don't think Marvel would do that, even though I didn't even know who she was. I didn't think they'd go there. They went there. They literally went there. The episode gave me very Modern Family mixed with The Office vibes. She kind of was acting like Claire Dunphy from Modern Family. Yeah, Wanda's kind of losing it in the case where she doesn't know what really what's going on, and she doesn't because she's not controlling any of it anymore. I had a theory. My theory was like, I thought Wanda was doing it, but at the same time, she didn't know what was going on. I still feel like it's a little bit of Agnes, or Agatha as we now know, and Wanda, because Wanda comes out of the bubble, and I believe it was episode 5, and, you know, says like, leave me alone, I have everything that I want. I think on one hand, Wanda's conscious of what she's doing. I feel like Agnes, or Agatha Heartstone now, is doing more of like the behind the scenes, because we find out she did kill the kid's dog, little jerk. She also bought Pietro back. My question is, does that rule out the X-Men idea? But it can't, because also in this episode, Monica's trying to go back into the bubble, and the truck that she's in doesn't go through. It starts to morph, so half of it is now like an old truck and half of it is that vehicle that they get. But she pushes her way through the portal, and she gets powers! So I guess her superhero name in the comics is Spectrum, and then her eyes start to glow, so she's now, I guess, has powers. I don't think it rules out that Agnes brought Pietro, but did she, like, create Pietro? Or did she, like, bring the Pietro from an alternate universe into this world? Maybe she just created a random Pietro, but then why would it be, of all people, Evan Peters, the Pietro that was in the X-Men world? So I still think she brought different alternate reality Pietro into this world, because what else can she do to make Wanda happy is bring in Pietro? That makes sense, because Pietro's conscious of what's going on, kind of, so there's that. Agnes takes the kids because Wanda needs some alone time. Everything's freaking out, like, all the furniture is starting to change. Things like glitching out. Wanda's kind of like, whatever at this point. And there's even that line of her kids are like, well, where's dad? She basically says to her kids, if your dad doesn't want to be here, then there's nothing I can do about it. When Monica does get through the border, like, she talks to Wanda about Hayward, and Wanda kind of knows, because she knows about Hayward, obviously, because of the bubble thing. But it's like, does Wanda know what's going on outside of the bubble and what Hayward wants? Monica's trying to tell her, don't let Hayward win. But Vision's woken up, and he's at the end of, like, the border, where the border used to be, because it's not there anymore. And we find Darcy, because apparently she's a part of the circus. And she doesn't know what Vision's talking about, and she's clueless as everyone else is, and he, like with Norm, taps back into the real Darcy. She and Vision steal a truck, and they're on their way back to Wanda, and Darcy basically tells Vision, because he has no memories, basically tells Vision what happened in Infinity War to make Wanda, like, freak out that she lost him, about his body and where the Mind Stone came from. Agnes, on cue, shows up and tries to be like, leave Wanda alone, you've caused enough trouble. And I'm kind of like, that's a little sus, why are you doing that, Agnes? We later find out, after Wanda is taken to Agnes's house, that it's very quiet. The kids are not in the living room anymore. Agnes is like, oh, they're just downstairs playing, and Wanda's like, okay. So she goes down in the basement of Agnes's house, which is already giving me horror movie vibes. It continues to give me horror movie vibes. She comes across like this little hallway. It looks like kind of like witchy and creepy with twigs. Oh, this is some horror movie shit. She enters that hallway, enters into a room that looks like something out of like a horror witchy movie. Everything in the room has like twigs. It's really dark and spooky and like witchcrafty. And there's a book that's kind of glowing in the corner. Agnes, with her hair down, stroking her bunny. Did you think they were the only magical person in Westview? It's Agatha. And she says, my name is Agatha. Her eyes start to glow. Then Wanda's eyes start to glow like a deep purple. My question is, because Wanda says in multiple episodes, like when she's talking to Pietro last episode, I don't know how they got to this way. The same time when she and Vision are having that argument, I think in episode 5, and she's like, I don't know how any of this started. We know she took Vision's body. So I think her taking Vision's body was of her own free will. I think she actually did that. So there's been a clip going around one of the trailers of her like yelling at something, being like, why can't I bring you back? So I'm almost thinking she, of her own free will, went and stole Vision's body from Sword, tried to revive him, that didn't work, and then maybe Agatha came along, not even telling Wanda, just created this perfect society and perfect world for Wanda, and she didn't even know how it started. I wonder if that's what happened. But what does Agatha get out of all this? Does she get to live scot-free in this perfect world? Or is she trying to, like, use Wanda and take Wanda's powers? What have we gathered from this episode? Monica now has powers. She's gone full spectrum. Agnes, as a lot of people were speculating and theorizing, is Agatha. Vision is now kind of up to date on what's happening. This Pietro, is he like an alternate reality Pietro, or did Agatha just make him up? But yeah, that was the episode. That's a lot to take in. The other question is, where are the kids now? There was in a comic of Mephisto, like, creating Wanda's kids, and then after Wanda went crazy, he kind of took the kids or something like that. But it's like Monica said, her clothing that she wore into the bubble, Wanda altered and created the clothing that she came back in the real world with. You can't create something out of nothing. So it's like, did Wanda create her children from other children? If that's the case, that's really fucking messed up. Or did her kids, like, just get created by Agnes? I have more questions. We only have 2 episodes left. This show's getting crazier and crazier by the fucking minute. Also, it has been confirmed. Hayward was not trying to destroy Vision, but bring Vision back together, bring him back online. I still think that he wanted to bring Vision back, Hayward wanted to bring Vision back to create a weapon, whether it be just for his benefit or like the army. We also got our first WandaVision end credit scene. I haven't seen a Marvel end credit scene in a hot minute. I mean, as we see Monica open like the outside doors that open to the basement, opens those of Agnes's house, and then Pietro shows up and he's like, first get stitches or something like that. It's like, is Pietro gonna knock her out and like bring her to Agnes? Or like, is he gonna like team up with her? I don't know. I have so many questions and theories. I just want them all answered, please. Back and watching a lot of like theory videos and other people's reactions to this current episode. But apparently in the comics, Mephisto first appears as a fly. And when Wanda is in Agnes's house, there's a fly on the window that we zoom in on. So is that like just a little Easter egg for the comic fans? It's like, if that's where they're going, that's like crazy. I think it's also in the comics that Mephisto takes Wanda's kids. In this episode, Wanda goes over to Agnes's house and her kids are nowhere to be found. Billy, in the beginning of the episode, says, my head hurts, there's too many voices. So is that like Mephisto calling him, being like, yo, I can help you, but really I'm gonna take you away? I mean, we have 2 episodes left, so I don't know if they'll review Mephisto, but if it is, oh, it's about to get very surreal and scary up in the MCU. If it looks like I've been crying, because I have, they were not kidding. Said the last 2 episodes of WandaVision were gonna be emotional. Got me. And it got me good. I get what Wanda's feeling. I get why she did everything she did. I got it before, but now I get it even more. So I'm just gonna jump right in to talking about it. Oh, I'm gonna try not to cry, but I can't make any promises. The episode opens in Salem, Massachusetts during the Salem witch trials with Miss Agatha, who I hate for making Wanda relive her past traumas. I guess Agatha was part of a witch coven that I guess her mom was leading, and she kind of delved and dived into some dark stuff that she wasn't supposed to for like her age, I guess, in witch years, and is gonna like try to get the dark magic out of her, maybe take her magic away. And Agatha's like, She, using her purple powers, takes away all of the other witch coven's magic, which then drains them, so they're left with just like a husk, and then she drains her mom's energy. That's kind of Agatha's backstory. So I guess she's been around for a long time. I'm guessing taking all these people's powers also takes maybe their years of life, so that way she gets more years of life and she's now maybe immortal for all we know. Wants Wanda to relive her past because she wants to find out about how Wanda got her magic and how Wanda created all of Westview and how powerful Wanda really is. I think over the years she's been taking other witches' magic
and like that makes her stay young and youthful, kind of like Mother Gothel. And so because she has Wanda's children, she makes Wanda go back into the past and relive her trauma. And the first memory she makes her relive is a memory with her parents. It is the time where the Stark bomb goes off. So that's why she loves sitcoms so much, and that's why Westview was in a different sitcom era. That's what little like family time, that was the family time that she had with her entire family, with her Pietro and her mom and her father, where they would sit down and watch sitcoms. I Love Lucy. Her favorite show as a child was the Dick Van Dyke Show. And we see in these different time periods of her life that she continues on that tradition of watching sitcoms. That's why she picked sitcoms for her in this reality, for her and Vision to live in, is because it was what her parents and her used to do together as a family. It's what she loved. It's where you can have funny moments and problems, but they'd get solved so easily. You don't have the problems of saving the entire universe. You didn't deal with that in sitcoms. You dealt with like, you made a mess, let's clean it up with some hijinks. That's why she picked sitcoms. For that reason, but also because she loved sitcoms as a kid, she loved sitcoms with her family. That's why she chose sitcoms. Now we know it makes sense. Seeing that happy scene with Wanda as a child, Pietro and her parents, seeing the love that she has for her parents, everything cuts to black. It's when the Stark bombs go off, and then you see her and her brother Pietro as little kids hiding under a table, and that's where they wait for 2 days for the Stark bomb to slowly kill them, and that just broke my heart. I remember hearing about an Age of Ultron and it being really sad, and now seeing it actually happen is really sad. The only reason Agnes is making Wanda relive all her past traumas and all these things is to find out how she created Westview and how she got her powers. She takes her to the day where Wanda to be an experiment for Hydra. This memory is one we've never seen. We've only seen when she was in Hydra, the events in Age of Ultron, and that end credit scene in, I think, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. We've never seen how she got her powers. Now we do, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a really good scene. She's walking into this room with glass all around, and there's Loki's scepter in the middle. The scepter starts to glow and the stone comes out of the scepter. She goes to touch it and it explodes into the yellow stone. And then I didn't see this coming. And then we see a silhouette, a black silhouette of an outline of, I'm guessing it's going to be the official Scarlet Witch costume. I didn't see that coming. That was cool. You can see there's like a little cape on the bottom, and it looked like it had the pointed crown. So I'm like, is she gonna have like a cape and the crown thing? That would be dope as hell. Cause I'm all for her wearing that little crown. I think if they incorporated it and made it cool somehow, it'd be really fucking badass. I can't wait to see her official costume reveal. And so now we see, I think this happens like right after Age of Ultron, because we see Wanda at the Avengers compound and she's really upset, and I'm guessing based on the conversation that she has with Vision, it's like it's pretty recent after Pietro's death. Vision comes in and he tries to comfort her. Grief is really sad, but it means you love, and that's true. You experience grief in your life, and if it's so strong, that shows you that you really did love that person, that you had so much love to give, and that you actually cared and loved them. Wanda kind of gives this line about how grief is like a wave. For some days, once you grieve and you get back up, the wave just comes and knocks you down again, and that is very true. I know that firsthand. Summer of 2019, I lost my grandmother, and I was very close with her. There were some days where I was okay, and then there were other days where I didn't want to get out of bed because I was just too upset and I couldn't do anything. 2 days before Christmas of last year, in 2020, I lost my grandpa to the virus. There are still days now where I get up and I'm okay, but then there's other days where I get knocked down again. But that wave, you think you're over that wave, and then that wave just comes back and crashes on you again and knocks you down. Wanda's been through so many trauma in her life, between losing her parents to then losing her brother, and then everything that happened in Civil War, and then like losing Vision and not really having any time to grieve because you're gone for 5 years, and then you find out that Vision's body has been taken. You get why she's doing it, because she's so sad. I told you I'm gonna cry. You get why she's doing it. She's been through so much trauma in her life, and when she thinks she's above the wave just crashes down on her and knocks her down again. Vision was the last thing that she had. She had to not only kill him, but then Thanos reran time and she had to watch him die again. She goes to S.W.O.R.D. because she learns that they have Vision's body, and she basically goes there like, I want to have a funeral for him. It's the least he deserves. It's the least I deserve. And I'm like, exactly. You deserve to have a funeral for Vision. Mind you, no hostile intent. Hayward made it seem like it was hostile. When he was talking to Monica and Jimmy and Darcy and telling them about Wanda storming S.W.O.R.D., she never stormed S.W.O.R.D. She literally came in there asking, like, can I have his body for a funeral? And you let her come in and see Vision's body. You antagonized her. You are the one that made Wanda out to be the villain when literally she wasn't up to this point. When she came in there to get Vision's body, she was not a villain. She asked nicely, you allowed her to come in and see Vision's body, and what do you show her? Hayward decides, let me show Wanda Vision's body all pulled apart. She sees Vision's body laying there in pieces, and she is emotional. So am I! This is the last thing that she had left in her life, and she sees him in pieces. And Hayward treats him like he's an object. Vision may be a robot made of vibranium, but he had feelings. He cared about Wanda. Hayward's like, I don't care. And then Hayward has the audacity to say, well, he isn't yours. She shatters the glass, drops down into the area where his body is. She is feeling the stone like in Infinity War when she's in the room with Vision and she feels the stone. She's like, I just feel you. She literally says to Vision's body, I don't feel you. And I was already crying at this point. I cried even more. Between when I finished the episode and when I'm filming this, I had to take a break because I was just too upset. Leaves Vision's body there and she drives to Westview. This is where I get even more emotional. This is where her snapping makes perfect sense. Gets back in her car and there's an envelope in it. She drives to Westview. And when she gets to Westview, she stops in front of like a cement foundation of a house. And she opens the envelope with a piece of paper and it's a house. It's a piece of property. It's a property that Vision bought for her, but it's a piece of paper that says Wanda and Vision, like this was gonna be their house they were gonna have together. There's a heart, there's a red heart on the front that says to grow old in, and it's got a V, so Vision must have wrote it, and I'm just sitting there like, they could have had a house, now they can't because he's gone. I told you I'm crying thinking about it. And she snaps. That's how she created Westview. She saw this house that she could have had, this life she could have had with Vision, and she creates the house with her magic. Westview to be like, I guess, the Dick Van Dyke Show in her version. That's how Westview came to be. I believed it was Wanda all along. It is literally her grief just drove her to do this. I get what she's doing is wrong. Experience that much grief. You do things that are not normal because you're grieving, you're in pain, you're letting your emotions dictate what you're doing, and that's normal. It's normal to have human emotions, it's normal to grieve, it's normal to make mistakes because you're only human. Agatha has Wanda's kids and tells her that Vision, your children, all this world is chaos magic. Well, I guess Wanda has chaos magic now, which that could lead into her creating alternate realities and stuff. Agnes basically says that makes you the Scarlet Witch. So she's now officially titled the Scarlet Witch because she has chaos magic. But the episode don't stop there. We get an end credit scene that literally, I am so mad. I am so upset. We see Hayward and his team with the drone that Wanda brought out of Westview. And then you go to a tube with a white and gray Vision. They're using Wanda's powers from that drone and they bring Vision back online. So I'm wondering if that's the real Vision's body. So if that real Vision, if he remembers, has all of his previous memories, or if Hayward programmed him to not remember Wanda and to basically be used as a killing machine to like take out Wanda. Could you imagine having that happen? The real Vision's body, the one that Wanda loved and knew for so long, going into the bubble and trying to kill Wanda, what that could do to her. That like set her off even more to create alternate realities. Is that what's gonna happen? Could you imagine what that would do to her? I'm trying to wrap my brain around this. So 9, it's gonna be a doozy, and I don't really know if I'm ready for it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Social distance, wear your mask, stay home as much as possible, stay safe out. I will see you guys with a new video very soon. Bye guys.